Nyenda kusima Ruhanga habwa ujore. Your grandmother is sick, you know, and you came and visited her. She cannot talk because she has been down for a long time because of stroke, but she is aware and she knows what happens. Only that this time we have hidden two things from her. One was the loss of your dad, and also the loss of Elly Tumwine, because we are worried that she may be bad off for the reasons I'm going to say. Afande Tumwine was a very, very special person to her. Actually, all the children, including Kookie, Tumusime, but Elly Tumwine was a very consistent person. And actually, my first interaction with Afande Tumwine was after the Liberation War, when we saw a very long convoy sneaking into our home. We were very young people, and all of us were excited to see the vehicles. We saw a slender, dark person coming out, and the first question he asked was, "Where is Mary?" So, for us who are young, we said, "Who are you, sir?" And he said, "You just show me your mother." Mawakajire kuiho bunyati bwo ari umuntu tuyiruka twamweta bakorana baramukansa. And that's how I came to know that he was a brother to Kookie. I knew Kookie because she used to visit us, and nyina mchara mushuzi na numwana msini. So that's how I knew him for the first time, and he kept coming home. The second time I interacted with him one-on-one, I was still a civilian. His nephew came to visit me at Makerere. We came to this very house. It was not yet complete, and we entered one of the rooms here. Naboth, who was singing here. So he told me that his uncle had told him not to go out of this home. I think he was doing some maintenance here. So when his uncle came, the convoy drove in here. Naboth said, "He has come, Afande has come." I said, "Don't tell him that I'm around." But when he reached down here, he panicked. He said, "I had gone to see Uncle Sabiiti." Then he said, "Where is he?" He said, "He's in the house." So Naboth came running, said, "I'm gonna quit." I said, "I'm young." And you know, as a civilian, I was very, very confident. I used to look at him as my young brother. Now I'll tell you the later story when I joined the army and I changed my attitude. So I went down, I greeted him here with an attitude. He said, "Imwana we odiyo hana muganda ndiyo amajini. Hey, atodiyo amere nte." Natuara hindi muganda. Said I'm at university. He said, "Which year?" I think I was in 4th year. Sorry, 3rd year. He said, "In all the 3 years you have not come to visit me." But at first he had started reprimanding the young boy. Naboth, he said, I left this nephew of yours to do work here. Instead he went to university to visit you." I kept quiet. Now when he said, "In all the 3 years you have not visited me," I said, "But you are reprimanding your Naboth for coming to see me. So why do you want me to come and see you?" Now, one lesson I learned that day, he did not become so hard on me for challenging him, because I was young actually. He was a very senior person. He was already general of the army, historical. Instead he said, "Mitu mwana kawabiang." He said, "Nijaga ambranyoko." So he asked me, he said, "Have you eaten supper?" I said, "Yes." Of course I lied. I said I'd eaten. So I think he was testing me. He said, "Okay, you go." So I waved goodbye, I moved out from this. When I had reached there, he sent soldiers. He called me back. He said, "I know you have not eaten. You have this 5,000 and I will eat something at school." I said, "Sir, I will not take it. Because if I take it, you will think I had come to look for money." He said, "Which one now?" He said, "Then I was come." Anyway, cut the story short. The lesson I learned that time was that he did not really become overbearing, and he could accept argument and counter-argument. Now later on, as a person, I came to know him when I joined the army, and I started understanding the revolution and its depth. Elly Tumwine always carried a visible mark of the struggle through his injured eye. It was always there for us to see. So whenever we saw it, we reflected on it. And I think it was Dr. Namara who really explained what happened. And one time later on, when we became close, he told me exactly what happened. And I always imagined the pain he went through with his comrades and all that struggled to bring the peace, stability, security, and involvement that we enjoy as the whole country. Him and his comrades really paved the way for most of the things that we see today. They realized that for their well-being, they had to make sure that the whole society becomes well. That's why you had Mr. Tulsime here saying, don't take us back, because we know what we went through. Now, another lesson I learned from him was that with so little, they were able to achieve much because of the spirit ideology. Spirit ideology, I mean, their ideas were beyond tribe, they were beyond religion, and trivial issues that have become a very serious impediment to our progress as a people. One time, I think it was the president who was quoting Samora Machel. He said tribalism is the commander-in-chief of the enemy forces. So Elly Tumwine was always very hostile to these negative tendencies, and he would keep referring to all of them. We used to call them abakombozi, meaning liberators. And as Franz Fanon stated, he said, each generation must discover out of relative obscurity its mission and either fulfill it or betray it. Elly Tumwine and his comrades, some of them are still alive and are here, including the president, identified their mission, and it has served us well. I was looking back at some of the things that are clearly evident out of their effort. I looked at roads, paved roads in our country have moved from 1,000 kilometers to 5,500 kilometers, and he has been able to witness it. The population of Uganda for more than 92 years, at least according to the records I was able to see today, never went beyond 15 million. That is from 1894 to 1996. In a short time, we are looking at 45 million people. This cannot be by chance. It means medical, it means immunization, and welfare for a population to grow this much. Even if you're looking after animals, if you see them multiplying, you know that you're doing the right job. Hydroelectric power from 150 megawatts to 1,254 megawatts. This is needed for industries, it's needed for employment, it's needed for all the other accessories of life. And the percentage of people that have access to electricity has moved from 5.6% to 42%. through his effort and all his comrades. The factories have moved from 84,920. Uganda is now a safe home for our compatriots from neighboring countries. Through these efforts, we have seen more integration. East Africa was originally Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, disjointed. Now, we have Burundi, we have Rwanda, we have DRC, we have South Sudan. Somalia is applying to join. We are stretching from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific. This is no simple task. Economy has grown from 3.9 billion US dollars to 34.7 billion US dollars in this short time, 9 times bigger. This man has not died in vain. Lastly, I want to thank the kids. They have spoken so well about their father. They said he loved, and it's true. When Jesus Christ was asked about the great commandments, his answer was, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. And he said, this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The other, Jesus was a revolutionary, very serious one. Another quote from the revolutionary was from Che Guevara. He said, at the risk of seeming ridiculous, let me say that the true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a revolutionary or genuine revolutionary without this quality. I saw this firsthand from the president himself. You'd see genuine love for people. Genuine love. You step on somebody's crops, you are cross with him. And it's not surprising that these commanders of the NRA had the same quality. So General Tumwine loved his country, was willing to die for it, and we appreciate this. He loved God. The testimonies are very clear since I came here, and I also know. He loved his family. He loved people. You had orphans, children of fallen comrades, and all these groups that you had Mr. Justice reading. One of them I qualify to represent them, the bald and the gray-haired. What does he leave behind? He leaves behind a better, peaceful, prosperous Uganda. He leaves behind a united and expanded East Africa. He leaves behind the power of example. Whenever I feel lazy to visit, I remember when he made time as an army commander to visit my mother. He made time. So whenever I feel lazy, I say, but if he could move when he was army commander, at a time when actually the country was still facing struggles ahead, then I am just a liar. So he leaves behind a power of example. He emphasized networking to defeat several evils in our society. And I think you remember networking. He used to say it many times. In later years, when he was Minister for Security, I had more time with him, and I would actually come and meet him here. So yesterday, when I came here, I felt a bit at loss, but later on I realized that time is time. What I forgot is to tell you that actually the life expectancy when they came here was 43 years, meaning by now I would have resurrected from the dead 4 years because I'm 47. So I would have died long time ago. With those few remarks, I just want to wish General Tumwine a very peaceful rest. He worked for it, and we are all enjoying his efforts. God bless you.